You know, when you're up against a really complex problem, the solution isn't always to get more complex. Sometimes it's about finding a simple comparison. Today, we're going to dive into the incredible power of analogies, and we'll see how something as simple as a toy brick or as primal as an ancient hunt can actually help us make sense of our crazy modern world. Yeah, I know it sounds a little weird, but think about it. We've all had that feeling, right? That inbox anxiety, just feeling buried by tasks. What if the key to understanding all that chaos was hiding in a kid's toy box? Well, it turns out there's a fascinating therapeutic tool that does exactly that.
So, in Lego based therapy, they have this core concept called volume. And it's not just about how many bricks you have, but about the actual physical space they take up. It's a surprisingly effective way to make these abstract ideas like resource management totally tangible and way easier to get your head around.
Okay, and this is where it gets really brilliant as an analogy for our digital lives. Imagine your to-do list or your inbox is a big bucket. Now, those huge, important emails or massive projects, those are like Duplo bricks. They're low volume, you only have a few, but man, are they high impact. Just a handful of them will fill your entire bucket right up. But then you've got all those quick texts and tiny little tasks, right? Those are the standard Lego bricks, high volume. It takes hundreds of them to fill the same space, but each one still demands a little piece of your attention. And get this isn't just some clever metaphor, it's a real practical tool used in therapy. Therapists will actually adjust the volume to change the difficulty of a task. So if you want to work on fine motor skills and communication, you use a high volume of small bricks. But if you need to simplify things and really focus on social interaction instead of the technical build, you switch to a low volume of big bricks. It's such a simple change, but it has this huge impact. And hey, if you find this whole idea as fascinating as I do, and you want to learn more about this structured approach to social play, the official Brick by Brick program, which is managed by Play Included, is a fantastic place to start. So, okay, a simple toy brick can help us visualize our external tasks. That's cool. But what about the stuff inside of us? What happens when the thing we're trying to wrap our minds around isn't a full inbox, but a powerful internal drive, like ambition? For that, well, for that, we need a very different kind of analogy. This line right here is from the 17th century dramatist Thomas Otway, and just listen to the language he uses. He doesn't call ambition a goal or a plan. No, he calls it a lust, something primal, something powerful, and something that can never, ever be satisfied. So what Otway's saying is that this kind of ambition just can't be satisfied. Every little taste of success doesn't quench the thirst. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. It only makes it stronger, more inflamed, and madder. This is ambition as a force of nature, an unstoppable drive that is completely opposed to just standing still. It's the absolute rejection of waiting around. So how in the world do you describe a drive that's this relentless, this active? You need a metaphor that really captures that essence of the hunt. And that metaphor, believe it or not, is whaling. And it gets really interesting when you actually trace the word's origins. I mean, it goes all the way back to a root word that just means large sea fish. But the word whaling itself isn't really about the animal, it's about the active hunt for it. The word is literally defined by the pursuit. And this just perfectly lays out the core conflict. Whaling is pure action. It's a dynamic, unstoppable hunt. Waiting is its polar opposite. It's passive, it's what's called a form of existential non-being. So for a person who's defined by the hunt, waiting it isn't even an option. You know, we all know that saying, having a whale of a time, right? Well, this analogy completely flips it on its head. For this kind of ambition, there is zero joy in waiting. The real whale of a time is only found in the thrill of a successful hunt. All right, so what could a kid's building block and a primal ocean hunt possibly have in common? It might seem like a stretch, but it turns out they share a really powerful connection. They both show us the true power of a great analogy. They take something totally invisible, like the anxiety of a full inbox, or the fire of a relentless ambition, and they make it real, something we can actually understand. One uses toy bricks to explain resource management. The other uses a hunt to describe a primal drive. Bottom line, they give us a whole new language to understand the world and to understand ourselves. So you see, whether it's a simple toy brick or a great white whale, the right comparison can change everything. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. What hidden part of your world is just sitting there waiting for the right analogy to come along and unlock it?